Trinity was the first place I've ever met someone who's never had a sip of alcohol or something like this. You know, some of those little things that we.
I remember having this idea, like I was the righteous defender of America, and I was in this hostile land of Canadians.
I'm sure a lot of people want. 12 foods with superpower, which is really important since I only eat like mac and cheese. Women confess their sneakiest tricks, which I don't know any of, and when the girls in senior housing are aggressive enough to try them on me. And there's also
the hardest part about marriage.
First year.
First year. Probably putting up with all the sex jokes from the girls in Too Well.
Life is a journey with death as the destination, so you might as well slow down and enjoy it for while we're on this planet and just remember what's now. But I think just laugh.
Secret crushes, oh dear. He had to be there, but I ended up like shaving an R onto, I have a lot of chest hair. Things were a little different after that.
No, I don't tell people who I have crushes on. No, I had a crush on Mike Finnegan my first.
I'm concerned because I don't have a real plan of what I'm going to do with my life yet. But it's not as much of a concern as it is.
You know, I'm not working, I'm taking classes, I'm hanging out, I'm living with people that I love that are my own age, and it's just pretty much a good time. Especially if you get freshman girls to buy you meals.
Me and another guy in Storm were sort of interested in each other, but I ended up going as Darren State and leaving with the guy I was interested in. So that was the start of Darren and I's friendship. He's just a great guy, easy to talk to. Yeah, I hope I'm friends with him for the rest of my life.
I don't want to be like my mother. I want to be totally involved with my family.
Then you realize that you're not the center of the universe, and if you ever feel like...
Well, I have to say that I peed in Dr. Snyder's hot tub. Yeah, that was quite the night, for sure.
Squint your eyes and look closer. I'm not between you and your ambition. I am a poster girl with no poster. I am 32 flavors and then some. Squint your eyes and look closer. I'm not between you and your ambition. I am a poster girl with no poster. I am 32 flavors and then some. And I'm beyond your peripheral vision, so you might wanna turn your head. 'Cause someday you're gonna get hungry and eat all of the words that you just said. I am what I am, what I am. Oh, yeah, I am 32 flavors and then some. I'm taking my chances as they come. I am 32 flavors and then some. I'm looking for truth, but there is none. I am 32 flavors and then some. I'll never forget where I came from. I am 32 flavors and then some. I'm nobody, but I am someone. I am 32 flavors and then some.
I was actually the first one to actually find out that Nate died, probably about 2 or 3 hours after it actually happened. So it was very shocking to me. I didn't believe it at first.
Nobody else here, baby.
I remember where I was sitting and what the weather was like, and and Colin phoned me at my place in Langley, and he told me. And I didn't really believe him. It was just kind of like, there's no way. Like, I remember Nate. I can still picture him. I was sitting in his room one day, and he came and he did that little dance thing that he always did. And there's no way that he could be dead.
I think the hardest part of that funeral was sitting, viewing the body for sure, and just realizing that a body without life is so different and so empty. You know, and you think, wow, it just looks like someone's carved him out of clay. You know, it doesn't even look real anymore. And then I think when we went back and sat in our pew, and the casket was open at the front of the church, and you're just sitting there looking at the body, and you think, there is no life in him or in that anymore. And then someone walked down the center aisle and just sort of nonchalantly closed the casket and moved the flowers on top of the casket, and that was it. You know, and it just hit me. That was the last time anyone will see him.
I guess I kind of felt a little bonded to him in a stupid way because we both drove Ford Tempos. We both hated our cars.
I always remember Nate, like, going around with Jason Boyce, and who was my roommate, and he would always yell, "Get some!"
His legs, nobody's that skinny and that tall. Like those Levi's. But just for, I mean, you can just picture his face kind of cocked sideways with that huge smirky grin that you know he's just up to something, but he's gonna tickle you or make some stupid comment that he's saying just to get you pissed off and just to hit him. But yeah, that smile for sure.
It was kind of a sobering moment, I guess, for all of us this year, and whether you were really close to him or not, it still had an effect on you.
The time leading up to going to his funeral and the time after that was when I learned how precious life is. I needed to set out what I would want if I were in his position, and so that people who were important to me, like my parents and my family, my friends, would know what I would want done.
We promised ourselves that our senior year, the last year on St. Patrick's Day, we would go dancing. I still remember, I guess it was just St. Patrick's Day last week. I remember always thinking at the senior class events, how would this be different if Nate was here? How would this be? Where is God in all this? I guess is the question, and I have to be honest, I don't know. That's still something I'm working out.
My first year was like the easiest because I just, everything was so wonderful. Like, you're away from your parents, chapel every day, it's all a social kind of thing. The classes were fun, because it was all new.
My first year, I lived in 2 and 3 Lower, and there's a lot of cool girls that were in that dorm. A lot of them have gotten married, but that hasn't happened to me yet. But that's okay.
I remember looking ahead in line and seeing this cute bouncy girl, and she had this those little backpacks on the back were in style, and so a long time ago, 4 years ago. And I remember going into the room and opening the door, and there was this backpack that looked really familiar to me sitting on the counter. And then I looked at the 2 beds, and both of the beds were filled with boxes, and there was boxes everywhere. The entire room was full of boxes, and my dad and I just kind of looked, and we're like, looks like my roommates arrived.
We were looking for my room somewhere in Douglas, and we couldn't find it. So we asked this older-looking student, and he very bravely volunteered to help find my room number. And it suddenly dawned on the guy that we were in North Douglas, and just the sound of that word just sent a shiver through my spine. We were living in the ghetto.
I had a biology prof that taught the whole class with this fly down, and no one said anything about it. And I wasn't about to say something because I was in the front row, and he had like a white shirt kind of sticking out of the front. He even put his leg up on the desk so that it opened up a little more.
Rob Copeland, and that was an interesting roommate.
I lived with AJ.
I lived in a tent for 6 of the 8 months.
His living in a tent and me hating his music.
I remember a freshman class committee meeting that I was running because I was freshman class president, and I said because I was talking about shoveling because I grew up on a farm, and I got a lot of gasps.
I remember then going to my dorm, and first of all I met my RA, and she was shorter than me, and I thought, that's weird. I thought RAs are supposed to be taller than you, but I don't know why I thought that. But anyways, I remember going into
Alex Oakland, he told us of his embarrassing moment, and to make a long story short, his embarrassing moment was just about this girl and how he had this amazing crush on her in high school, and there was a situation that happened, and you can ask Alex about it. A bunch of us in the freshman committee, we got together and we decided to make a care package for him from this girl that was from, I think it was Oregon, and write this letter saying that how she always loved him, and how that she was getting married but she was going to come up and visit him, and how she really wants to see him just for the last moments while she's single. Later on that evening we had freshman committee, and all our group knew except Alex. So he comes with his stickers and his package and his letter from this girl, and he goes, guys, guess what I got? And we're all looking at him, and he's like, no way. We're all smirking, we're like, April Fools!
Probably one thing that I like most about Trinity is the water. I remember when I was in Egypt, in some forsaken village, I tried their water and I was like, man, this tastes just like home.
Do I miss Beaver? No. I think I do miss going up there and seeing everybody and standing in those horribly long lineups with everybody. I mean, it was fun, good bonding time.
It kind of felt like an army line because they always had the potato mash scoopers, and you just kind of like went through your line with your tray. And yeah, really, I think it was Matt Carr took this little cucumber off a salad plate, and we were in the wing where they now have classrooms, and he just hucked it across the room, and I mean, he put some speed on that thing, and I think it was Pete Prediger was just standing up, and it caught him like right between the eyes, and it was just like, I mean, just like a little disc or whatever, like a bullet, just shoot, and Pete saw it, it was like a deer in the headlights. He saw it coming at him and he couldn't even move, and just bam. That was pretty funny. Cheese strips with the bacon strips? Definite no-no. Gotta stay away from those. Pizza day was good though. We had the pizza days, and we take like 9 of them, take them back up to our freezer and just stack them up, pull them out when we needed them.
Here we are in a Fraser girls' dorms, and we're just wondering what are on girls' minds these days. Let's just have a look at what they're reading. Runner's World, bicycling, J. Crew, and brides. This is probably one of the sole reasons that guys are so scared off and aren't wanting to be in Fraser on their weekends.
Every time I think
I had a secret crush when I first came here. Rachel Bartel. This is one of those things like you had to be there, but I ended up like shaving an R onto. I have a lot of chest hair and shaved an R onto my chest. I didn't leave it there, and you know, like some people like did it to be funny. People in my dorm knew. Somehow it leaked to her, and I kind of, I don't know, I think I can pinpoint in my mind like when exactly it was she found out, because things were a little different after that.
At one point, Dave Cusick.
He's
good looking. And he's got an awesome voice. And he's tall. He's totally funny.
I never had a crush on him, but I can see why girls would.
Julie Miller in my second year.
I think first year I had a crush on Riley Berth.
My first crush was on Scott Campbell, and I didn't ever talk to him, and my friends asked him out for me on my All-Star, which was really cool, but I felt so uncomfortable that he just talked to everyone else, and I just sat on the ground the whole time, and I never did tell him.
Okay, what about, have you ever had a crush on a prof? No, did you? Kind of. Oh, I had a crush on Doug Hampson. Dr. Hampson, well, he was the nicest man, and he kind of, I remember when we used to ask, I remember one time when you were walking, remember you went to talk to him.
I had a secret crush on David Fox, and I just totally love like living down the hall from him because I'm so shy to go over there though. And I just love it when he tickles me. And he's here to get me. I need dinner.
Wow. I had a crush on Chris Roper the first time I ever saw him, even though I knew that he had a girlfriend. And then I got to be really good friends with him, so then crushes don't matter when the person gets engaged.
Had the hugest crush, as if like not everybody in freshman year did, but had this huge crush on Andy McClanahan with the 50 others, including I remember asking her on the All-Star, and Clayton Tufnell was totally digging on her at the time too, and he was a big sophomore already, right? So he had actually asked her on the All-Star or whatever the same night, so she couldn't go with me. And I remember coming back and thinking like, you know, if I wasn't a Christian, I'd go drive in my car really fast.
I don't know how I feel, or I don't know at 21 years old what I'm ready for right now.
I dated a few girls. It was the casual friendship thing.
Like, cause Leslie Schultens and I have been like peas and carrots for our whole time here, but we've never dated, and it's always kind of been a joke. It'd be kind of funny if I said, you know, in all honesty, I've always just had. I mean, it's kind of an inside thing, but she would die.
Alex always thought there was this little thing. We were really good friends. Yeah. Sometimes I doubt if I'll ever find love, like if I'll ever fall in love. I have too many walls to fall in love, I think. I would marry somebody because I was compatible with them, not necessarily for love, because love can grow. Tyler and I were discussing this. Tyler said he'd marry me if he was just going for attitude. I'd marry him if I wasn't considering looks or money.
We just were getting to know each other the first week, and it seemed to be a mutual interest. And one night we were on, you won't back this in, back 40 path. We were on a walk. He seemed to be interested, I seemed to be interested, and we were spending time, and And I made a move to kiss him, and he rejected me. Secret crush. Do you have somebody in mind?
I did. His name was Doug. Now I'm with him. I used to run home from soccer practice, run all the way. I'd say I had to go to the bathroom, run all the way back, just so that I'd time it so that he was coming out of his class so I could walk opposite ways on the path and say hi to him, and then I'd run back to soccer practice as fast as I could. 5.5 years with only 1 day signal. Can you believe that?
The hardest part about marriage.
First year.
First year. Probably putting up with all the sex jokes from the girls in 2L.
Yeah, everybody sort of looks at you funny now. Whoa, we know what they do.
Carrie Lynn especially. There goes Christy. She's doing something I don't get to do.
You gotta tell the story. Tell the story. This is like, we always go to White Rock for ice cream, and Aaron took me out first of all for this amazing dinner to this great restaurant in North Van, the Salmon House. We just had this great dinner, and I was full, too full for dessert, so Aaron's like, why don't we go to White Rock for ice cream later? Sure, no problem. So we change, we go to White Rock, and we got there, he pulls out a guitar, and so then he starts singing this love song, and I start crying, and all this, and I'm just thinking, gee, this is so nice, you know? He's really gonna have to top this when we do get engaged, and next thing I know, he's on one knee, and he gives me this card and the ring, and it was like...
I said, well, I think it's a perfect beach day. Let's go to the beach. She really likes to do that. Anyways, she goes, but I don't have anything to wear. And I just smirked, and I said, perfect. And I pulled out this box, and I had bought her a dress, and she put the dress on, and we went. Today, she'll say that she knew at that point, but I don't think she did. Anyways, we got back to the courtyard. She picked up the box, and started talking, and she took the ribbon off, and talked some more. She opened up the box, and it was full of sand, because, remember, she likes the beach. And she pulled this lavender ribbon, and out from the sand came the ring. And I got down on one knee and proposed. And in typical Margaret Joy fashion, Margaret said, I said, Margaret, will you marry me? Yes. No crying, no screaming, no nothing, just, yes.
Okay, I'll tell. Some of the problems with the boys here are they don't go out, like they all hang in little groups and they're too afraid to do anything. This year my attitude about them has improved. But before, up to this year, I thought I just wrote them all off and thought they were all bad news. This year it's better, I think.
Are there any good-looking Trinity boys here?
They're few and far between. No, whoa. Okay. First of all, I have to be tall. I have to be able to wear high heels and they still be taller than me. So that would be like, I'd like to be 6 feet at least. But I'm partial to blonde hair, blue eyes. They have to be smart, but they have to also be outdoorsy and like to do things outside. They have to like skiing. I love skiing. Well, I don't know. Like I don't know what you classify as a date here. That's the whole thing. I've maybe had some tech, but they're just friends. Yeah. Okay, first year, I had like the biggest crush on Dave Higginson. Like, I still think he's real cute, but he's way too short. No, I know. He was just a crush in the past moments. But yeah, I think he was like a first year crush.
Well, if you wanted guys to go out with you, how do you?
See, that's the whole problem. That's the guy's job to do all that, getting asked. Like, I just like to sit back and they do all the work. I think I want a strong-willed man, so that's a good thing. So I figure I'm not gonna make any initiative, and he has to make the initiative. I think John McKenzie's pretty nice looking too, but I don't know if it was a crush. I just think
Oh, whatever. It was a crush. No, it was past crush stuff.
There was more. I know it. You're sure then.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem.
The rugby boys are pretty cute, and we're gonna go to some rugby games.
There is this guy. I think his name is Ben.
I don't know. I've never spoken to him in my life, but I think I could have a crush on him.
I don't want to be like my mother. I want to be totally involved with my family. And I have this fear because it's so often said that if you say, I don't want to be like so-and-so, you'll be like them. And that, I think, is my biggest fear.
I fear that expectations that I have and that people have of me will not be met.
I'm also kind of never really scared of the future, but kind of look at it and say, what's it going to be like in 40 years? Like, what are we gonna have then that we can't even fathom right now? And how am I going to respond to that?
The hardest thing that's happened in my life is that my dad left the very first day of school in my first year here at Trinity. My parents had always promised me since I was little that they'd never separate because they loved us too much, but he announced he was leaving and there's really nothing we could do to stop him. So he left, he moved out for 4 months. They reconciled and he moved back in right before Christmas. It made me stronger in my faith at the time. It just made me grow in a bunch of ways. Even though it was really hard, I probably wouldn't change that experience for anything because of the lessons I did learn.
You know, you go to school here for 4 years and you're not sure if you're going to be able to apply everything you learned or if you'll be able to apply 2 or 3 classes of all the ones that you take at Trinity. I'm concerned because I don't have a real plan of what I'm going to do with my life yet. But it's not as much of a concern really as this anticipation, I guess. In there, it's more of an exciting ride.
I have no idea. 4 years ago, I had this plan that would stretch a lifetime. Now it's basically crumbled.
In some ways, I think I went to university as kind of a buffer zone. Didn't have to decide what I wanted to do right after high school, so I thought I'll give myself 4 years. But it hasn't exactly worked that way. I'm kind of still at the same place I was about 4 months before graduation from grade 12.
After I graduate with my Bachelor of Science in Biology, I'm planning to go into the field of graphic design and just design in general. Just somewhat unrelated, but now I'm going to go do what I love. And it took me 4 years to figure that out, but I don't regret being in biology, but I'm excited to go into design. And well, hopefully you'll see some of my ads in magazines and newspapers.
I would hope to be married in 5 years. Really want to work with people, and so I can see myself in a capacity that'll be a little different than just working your average 9-to-5 job.
I've been offered a job, and I'm going to be working starting in September. I'm going to be working in Calgary and for the Toronto Dominion Bank, and so that's something that I have something to look forward to after graduation.
Well, I'd like to work in the secular business world because I feel that from working in ministry and going to Trinity, I've been in this Christian bubble for too long and I've enjoyed it, but I think it's time to burst my bubble. I think it's time to burst the Christian bubble for myself, and I need to know what it's like to make a stand.
Get involved with friends, getting to know people on a deeper level, getting to know exactly who they are and what makes them who they are, as opposed to the people they want you to believe they are. Everybody is very, very similar in their thinking patterns, and we all lead pretty much a boring life, and that's just the way it goes. But it's cool when everybody's leading the boring life, because then we can all be friends.
Don't be afraid to be who you are. I think at Trinity sometimes it can be difficult because we feel like we need to fit into a certain group. Maybe for some people they'll never find a place where they totally fit in. Like, I mean, you hope that, you do, find different places along the way, but don't be afraid to be who you are.
You see?
Some women come up and say they don't want to get married until they're 28 because they just don't want. They just want to wait until I just want to wait till I'm 28. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. What the hell are you going to do at 28? You're going to be old, wrinkly, and nobody's going to want you because your butt's going to be sagging. Like, get married while you're young and full of it.
Here, I got something to say to all my fellow psychology graduates out there.
Right now we're saying things to class.
I just want to tell you, there is a ton of jobs out there for psychology graduates. Really? Domino's Pizza is always hiring. There's always jobs in the fields of hairdressing, bartending. You can drive a cab. Basically, you're screwed if you're a psychology major, and it's taken me 4 years to figure it out.
That might be a good one for the freshmen.
Here's one for biology students here.
If you don't have higher than a 3.4, you might as well look into
psychology.
For me, it was weird to be at the grad banquet because I haven't spent any time with my class really, because everybody that I was really close to graduated last year, and so this year I've pretty much just studied and stuff. But in the last month, I've got to know a lot of people pretty well, and it's a pretty rad class. It's a pretty cool group of people, and so I hope people remember that I was genuine in a lot of the way I did stuff. Maybe because a lot of times I feel like I'm not.
To me, that's one of the biggest blessings that we have as Christians is when God uses us and we don't know, because it never goes to our head then because we don't have a clue that somehow God is using us. And Trinity has its shortcomings that way. It'd be awesome if Langley was known across the country as this crazy city where like everybody's nuts because like everybody's coming to the Lord. But like it's amazing. I think I'm really amazed every day. I'm more amazed by like what God manages to like use us for and us never find out, you know, like
I have totally enjoyed Trinity, and like I'm not a big sentimentalist. I hate being serious and stuff, but I guess I get nostalgic because I think it'll never be like this again. Like you'll never have a Christian community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That you know you can go to and have something to do. 2 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of Christian friends. That's what you find at Trinity. My best friends are here.
Wanna cry for you. Would it do any good if I rained for you? It would just be water, powerless to change your world, powerless to stop the hurt. But I'll give you my heart, give you my shoulder. I'll give you my heart, give you my shoulder. Over and over, wanna run for you. Would it do any good if I flew